Hello to my lovely spirited living community. It's Deborah Roth back here with another addition to our Inner Goddess Team videos that I do every week, almost every week. I've been taking the third week off just for a break because I'm now it's going on almost 3 years since I've been doing these weekly. And if somewhere in this video you'll see a little flash, an eye, if you scroll over it, you can learn more about, because I don't go into it in great detail in each video, why I'm doing these. The short story is that I am passionate and committed to bringing the qualities and the energy and the knowledge of the divine feminine in all of her many faces. And those faces, anthropomorphically speaking, I guess, show up in goddesses from all around the world. When I first started learning about feminist psychology, women's spirituality, and learning about goddesses from around the world, we used to say it's the 10,000 goddesses. And I keep thinking that I'm going to run out, and of course I never will. And the one that I want to share with you this week and I always try and bring them into something that's happening, either a festival of the particular goddess, or something that's happened in the world, or one of the phases of the moon. In this case, that's part of it. So this week, I am sharing with you, all that I've learned about Hina, Hina, who is the Hawaiian, Polynesian, Tahitian goddess of the moon. And I chose her this week for two big reasons. One is that the new moon in Cancer was just this past Monday on July 17th. And I am a Cancer. My birthday was a few weeks ago. And Cancer is ruled by the moon. So what a perfect time to honor one of the many, many moon goddesses from around the world. And it's also, and I love this, that tomorrow on July 20th, in 1969 was when the US made their first landing on the moon. And I was certainly alive then. I was a teenager, but that's just such a historic moment for all the obvious reasons, but also for all the spiritual and archetypal reasons. What it means to visit Hina, to visit the moon goddess in all of her many forms. For real. and archetypally, what does that mean? How do we embrace the cycles of the moon? Hina is the goddess of cycles, because of her connection to the moon, obviously, also of communication, of death and rebirth. And I'll talk about some of her many legends and myths and mythology, and you'll hear why she's associated with these various themes in just a little bit. So regardless of when you're watching this, if you're joining me today, or if you're finding Hina some other time during the year, we are always in the midst of one of the moon cycles, right? We're either just a few days after the new moon, which was Monday, 2 days ago. So we're in the waxing time of the moon now, moving towards, in about 2 weeks, to the full moon. And after the full moon, we will be in the waning time of the moon. And what that represents for us internally, psychologically, emotionally, spiritually, is this ability during the waxing moon to create new projects, to bring to fruition whatever it is that we've been working on. And then during the waning moon, again, all of these governed by Hina, and any of the full and new moon goddesses, any of the generic, that sounds so disrespectful, any of the multifaceted, because that's the face of the moon, any of the multifaceted moon goddesses, because of course the moon is changing every day, and represents change itself, and our multifaceted nature as humans. So all that, and I'll share with you a little bit about some of the legends. Let me show you two representations I have of her. This one really captures her as the weaver, and it was called things in two different places. She's known as, in the Hawaiian tradition, as the creator of a practice called kuku, let me find it, kuku kapa. And yet I also heard it referred to as tapa with a T, tapa pounding, tapa beating. And what it is, what she's weaving here, if you can see that, she is weaving, well, she's actually first pounding, beating the bark of the tapa or kapa tree. If anyone knows more about which it is, please let me know. Because there's so much mythology around her, there are actually, a few conflicting stories and associations as well. So she first has to beat the bark of this either mulberry tree, a breadfruit tree. I think there were some other trees that were represented in order to make this beautiful cloth. And the cloth, in this you get a sense of it. This is another one by, I love, I'm never pronouncing her name right, by Susan Boulay, who makes these beautiful whimsical images of goddesses. And you can sort of see, although I'm reflecting on my lights reflecting on there a little bit, the cloth, once she weaves it, once she prepares it, appears as clouds around the moon. So she's, and you've heard, she in that whole sort of Pacific area, there are myths in many different places around there. So we've talked about some of the ways that you can use this moon energy. Some of her, so probably one of her best known, I was going to give you some of her legends, but I'll start with the best known one, is that she created the first coconuts. And this is probably one of her best known legends or myths. And that's that she, when she was swimming, she's very much associated with the ocean and water, as any good Cancer moon goddess would be. She mated with an eel. And when her followers found this out, they were horrified that she had connected with a serpent. So they killed the serpent and then discovered it was a god. And she was bereft, she was outraged, and she buried this serpent's head. And 5 days later, a coconut tree sprouted and has provided all the milk, the juice, everything that coconuts provide for not just Hina's followers, but all people. So she's considered the person who created coconuts. She's also, one of her other myths is that, and she's got some beautiful ones that say that she just got tired of picking up after her family as a mortal woman. So she took off to weave for the moon, to weave some clouds around the moon. Some other ones that are kind of more connected to violence or difficult, situations, was that she was seduced by her father, but she didn't know that this person that she was mating with was her father. And when she discovered this, she was ashamed, she was furious, and so she ran away to the Polynesian underworld, which is called Po, and this was considered the first death in creation. And I guess her father was the big creator. And her fury was so unquenchable that she announced her intention to kill any children that were begotten by her father, and of course he was the one that produced mankind, therefore ensuring that death would remain a force on earth. So she's also, she's a death goddess in the model of Hecate or Hela from the Swedish, Norse tradition. She also, let's see, another one that's kind of a sweet one. She was a canoeist who enjoyed it so much that she sailed to the moon and then discovered that it was such a good boat that she stayed there so that she could guide other canoeists who were out on the ocean. I love that one. And here's another one that's connected to some violence. Her brother, who was hungover from probably celebrating too much, heard her beating on the tapa, beating on the bark so that she could create the cloth, this sacred cloth, to make clouds and other things. And she let's see, when he wouldn't see it, he hit her, sending her sailing into the sky. And she lands on the moon, and that's also what makes the idea that when you're beating on something, it's a precursor to moving to death, moving to the underworld. So she's connected with death in that way. I think that's it for just a few of her legends. I would love to hear if people know more about her, can tell me what the difference is between Tapa and Kappa. I would love to know. But I've given you just a sense of all of her many legends. So as I said, if you're looking to either create or after the process of creation, which is best done, but not only, of course, during a waxing moon, and then after the process of creation, resting and restoring yourself, Hina is a wonderful one to call on, and of course offer her coconuts when you do that. So please, I would love to hear if anyone has more information about her. There was just so much, and I always put this in my YouTube description. Some of my favorite resources when I find out about these goddesses, and just give a little bit more of a written description there. And I also share the chant, which I will share with you. I don't know that I've ever sung this. I went back and looked. I don't know that I've ever sung this. So you can always find me on Instagram or Facebook each week, either Tuesday, Wednesday around this time. Sometimes Thursday, and then it all ends up in my YouTube channel at Deborah Roth. So please subscribe. Please let me know what you know about Hina. If you've heard of her before, if you've got more information from me, I would love to hear from you. So there was so much to say about her. I feel like I'm talking fast. So now I'm going to take some of that rest and restorative energy of Hina and sing for you a beautiful chant that I think really captures both her, and I'm wearing gray, I'm wearing silver and white. Those are the colors of moonlight. Those are the colors that you can wear when you're invoking her. Almost forgot to tell you that. So, and here's a beautiful chant that you can also open yourself up to call on her really in any phase. Powerful moon of radiant light, weave us a web that spins the night. Web of stars that holds the dark. She is the power that feeds the spark. Strand by strand, hand over hand, thread by thread, we weave the web. Powerful moon of radiant light, weave us a web that spins the night. Web of stars that holds the dark. She is the power that feeds the spark. Strand by strand, hand over hand, thread by thread, we weave the web. So carry that with you. The words will be on my YouTube channel. And think about her as you gaze up at the moon tonight. You may not see much of her yet because it's right after a new moon. I don't know if the crescent's up there yet. And please let me know what you think and join me next week. And I think we're doing maybe another moon or water goddess next week. Have a beautiful week. Namaste. Thanks so much for joining me. Bye for now.